Welcome to the Superhero's Journey, episode number 5. Podcast where we talk mainly about superhero movies and TV shows with a bit of Star Wars and other things in the genre. My name is Carl Freemerman, and with me is my co-host,
Brian Shores.
You can find us on Twitter and follow us there at Superhero Journey, no E in super. And email us at thesuperheroesjourney@gmail.com, where heroes is plural, not possessive. So this week, we can start off with casting for Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes.
This is actually a series regular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I actually seems like maybe a hero.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine so.
Someone named Tala Ash. She's going to be playing Zari Adriana Tomaz, also known as Isis.
Yes, a very timely name.
Very popular name nowadays.
Yeah, really great SEO on that one. A lot comes up when you Google it. Probably not Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, so they have a description of this character from CW.
Mm-hmm.
And in quote, it's a Muslim American woman from the year 2030 who lives in a world of contradictions. Technology has brought about incredible change in her future, but human nature hasn't kept pace. Fear, prejudice, and lack of care for the planet have forced Zari to become a gray hat hacktivist. She lives a double life and doesn't realize that she has secret latent powers derived from an ancient mystical source.
Yep.
So Isis, the Egyptian god, is obviously the source of her powers.
Yeah.
In the comics, she's, from what I read, she's basically a female Black Adam.
Yeah. And this isn't the first time that Isis is on TV, because there was the show from, I think it was late 70s, early 80s, the Shazam Isis Hour.
Yeah, I did read about that, but I didn't know anything about it prior.
Yeah, I watched it. I think it was like in reruns on like TV Land or something when I was younger. But yeah, it's like the first half. It was like Shazam, Captain Marvel, where it was like totally non-suspect about a 10-year-old, 12-year-old boy riding around in an RV with an old man that was not his dad or father or grandfather or anything like that, traveling around the country, solving crimes, saying Shazam, turning into an older guy. And then the next half of it was Isis, which I just didn't watch because I was like, this is girl stuff. I'm 8 and I don't like this.
Yeah, girls are icky.
Yeah,
they have cooties.
Yeah, it was basically like, I'm just gonna let my sisters watch this, and which I don't even think they did.
They're like, click.
Yeah. So I think they switched to something like My Little Ponies or something like that. But
so apparently she has to say "I am Isis" to activate her powers.
Yeah.
I doubt we'll be hearing that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that there's not any rebranding on this.
Yeah, I mean, you could go with a different Egyptian god name. There's other female Egyptian gods out there.
Yeah, or I mean, it doesn't have to be a god. Just something, something identifiable. Cleopatra. She just shouts out Cleo. And, I mean, like I'm indifferent to it. Like I can acknowledge that things are separate. But I mean, Archer's been going fine for years. Where the organization that, the spy organization that Archer works for is called ISIS. So, yeah.
What does it stand for, do you know?
I have no idea. I've only watched a handful of shows.
Yeah, I don't really watch that.
Yeah,
I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's a fun show. Yeah. It's just not enough to keep me, watching really, faithfully.
But the description of this character really sort of throws things for a loop, because she's from 2030. Yeah. She's a gray hat hacktivist. Like, what?
Yeah.
What does that got to do with having powers similar to Black Adam from the Egyptian?
Don't worry, just give it one season, and then after that, they're gonna change her name from Isis to Daisy and make it super uninteresting. Because that's what happens when you have hacktivists and they realize that there's only so much they can do with it. Yeah.
Sick burn, right?
Yep.
Take
burn. That, Marvel.
Look, okay, that was justified.
Was it? I dare you to, or not dare, I challenge you to rewatch the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just see how starkly different.
I don't want to watch them. The beginning, the first few episodes of that show were not good.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy them very much.
Yeah.
I sort of forced myself through it, and then eventually I got to the point where all right, now that they've changed things up, things are better.
Yeah.
But
it is, they did a conscious shakeup on that show.
Yeah.
Like almost everything. The only two characters that did not change really were Coulson and May.
Mm-hmm. But this whole hacktivist thing is like so tired. Like when Shield did it, that was actually, there weren't a lot of them. Yeah, there were probably other versions, but that wasn't long. We're talking about, what are we, season
So 5 years ago?
Yeah, so yeah, 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And now, we've had that in all these DC shows. There's always some hacker person doing some hack. Felicity's a hacktivist, so she was.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know.
So, we're gonna get a new one in Legends, and she's gonna have these powers. Like whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
we'll see.
We'll see how it goes, because hopefully they don't lean on that too much. I mean, most likely it's going to be handled the same way that they do with most characters on Legends of Tomorrow, where you have what's his name, Citizen Steel, where I'm a historian, and that's gonna greatly impact this one episode that I'm introduced in, and then otherwise I'm just gonna be another dude with superpowers.
Yeah, but he's always talking about history stuff. He's the guy they go to solve like problems, and so they get knowledge from him all the time. She's gonna be the one that they're always gonna be like, oh, we need to hack into this future tech that we have know nothing about, and she'll probably do it.
I don't know. We'll see. Like, I have a feeling that's gonna, I don't know, go.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like Legends, so I trust that they'll probably do something decent. And they get rid of stuff that's not good, like the Hawkgirl. So.
Yeah, but I mean, adding Vixen and now adding Isis, it does seem like they are kind of like chasing the spot that was left by Hawkgirl.
I thought Vixen originally wasn't going to be in this season, but then I read something that she will.
Yeah, she's staying on. Yeah. And then this is like purely just a rumor, but I want to bring it up just because I know it's going to ruin your afternoon.
Here we go.
Do you know what I'm going to...
Nothing's going to ruin my afternoon, because I'm excited about something else later today that's unrelated to superhero movies.
Yeah.
So. But what is it, Ryan?
Somebody pointed out, and I did go back into the last episode of Legends to rewatch, and I'm sure it's just gonna be just kind of a throwaway thing that was in there. But one of the very last things that you saw when they're panning out of 2017 Los Angeles when like there was that timescape that was crumbling in on itself.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
One of the very last buildings that you see in the bottom left corner, which I wouldn't expect you to know this because I know you dropped the show. You have the Watchtower from Smallville.
Oh. Like, I don't care if they want to incorporate some alternate universe Smallville into this, because that's fine. Like, I mean, I don't like Smallville a lot. I originally liked it when in the first 4 seasons or so. But, if you want it to be another timeline that they can cross into, I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah. That's not going to bother me. It won't ruin my day, Brian.
Yeah. Damn. I was really hoping that you just like...
But what will possibly ruin my day, or 2018 maybe, is Joel Kinnaman saying that Suicide Squad 2 is planning to start shooting in 2018.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, sure. You know what? Just let it happen. Because I'm taking the approach that I had toward the Ghostbusters movie with this, which, if you guys don't know, listening, one of my favorite movies of all time is Ghostbusters, a movie I grew up on, I desperately loved, I've seen many times, I can quote from beginning to end. But my view is, I thought the trailers for the Ghostbusters movie that came out looked really bad. I thought the jokes were stupid, the effects weren't great. Then I watched the movie and I'm like, the movie was okay, but I never felt like I needed to see it again, but it was a relief that it wasn't terrible. But my view on that was, I hope they make as many Ghostbusters movies as humanly possible, because even if they're all as not great as the one that came out, eventually statistics show they have to make a good one, even by accident. So, you know what? Just make all the Suicide Squad movies you want.
But by that point, you might have just destroyed the franchise with tons of garbage.
Yeah, and then they'll cancel it. It'll sit on it for like 10 years, and
I don't think it has the social elevated opinion that people would really be able to withstand several bad versions of it. So
but it's
that's Star Wars, all right?
Yeah,
can't have an entire bad prequel trilogy and still have people clamoring for anything Star Wars.
Well, we still have yet to have a bad prequel trilogy, Carl.
Someone's in denial.
No, they weren't great, but they all but I also realize that there's no way that I can watch those movies with the nostalgia that I have for the original three. Like, I don't remember a time, and neither do you, where those movies didn't exist, because the first two came out before. Actually, I think they all.
Was it like 79, 81?
77, 81, and 83, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
so I was an infant.
Yeah.
When the last one came out.
Yeah, so we never knew a world without Star Wars.
Yeah.
So we can only look at those nostalgically. The prequels were going to be weighted against something that we loved as children, and you can't beat that.
Yeah, but I love The Force Awakens. That's an instant classic to me, and the prequels were not. So
because Force Awakens, and we're getting way off topic, but
yeah,
Force
right?
Force Awakens was basically made by a fan, and that's what we latched onto.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible, and I hope and I.
But
love
it wasn't made by a fan.
Yeah, like every DC movie.
Yeah, Suicide Squad,
exactly.
Which is what we were just talking about.
Yeah, before you got way off topic.
I know. God, what's going on
here?
So yeah, having this come out, having it shoot next year, I mean, you could kind of look at it maybe different ways. I mean, it still seems to be a bit rushed.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to start shooting, you maybe at the way end of next year, okay, you might have had enough time. But nobody starts shooting that really late. Usually they start shooting somewhere earlier, in the year. So I don't know what they think they have already for this movie.
Well, they watch Guardians of the Galaxy too, so they at least know that they can try and use whatever they had in that movie to make a trailer that people are going to want to see, like they did with the first Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Is there any chance that they think they can get this movie out next year, which would be a huge problem for me, a huge disaster, I'd imagine. I mean, it would make money because people just want to, see these things.
Yeah,
they have good music video trailers. But.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest, the Suicide Squad, for however much we didn't like it, it made them money.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
it
so I
definitely
mean,
did.
so from a business standpoint, why wouldn't they make it?
Yeah.
I mean, from my point of view and from a fan point of view, for someone who read the Suicide Squad comics and loved when Task Force X showed up on Justice League and what they've done with it on Arrow to a point. Yeah, I don't want them to give a bad representation of what it is because we've already seen that it can be done a lot better. But dude, if it's gonna make them money,
yeah, it just bums me out because I feel like there is a ton of potential with those characters.
Yeah.
And if you're just gonna put it out there just to make a buck,
yeah,
I'm not gonna like you.
Yeah.
So you're not winning any points with someone like me who already doesn't like the movie.
Yeah. And it's the thing that's making me really kind of question this is, and I honestly, I've gotten to the point where I realize that they're not making these movies for the fans, which is really unfair because the fans are the ones who are going to be the most excited about it, who are going to be the ones going in costume opening night or for the pre-opening night. They're the ones who are going to take to the internet, and sing the praises of a good movie and attack a movie that did really bad. It seems like it's unfair where it's these are the people that kept this alive, so at least show some respect to that.
Yeah. But then they'll say oh no, it's for the fans in quotes.
Yeah.
Because it has things that fans would recognize. That's their idea of it's for the fans.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I was wondering with when Wonder Woman was coming out and there was the Alamo Drafthouse was doing all the all women screenings, which I was totally cool with. Why not?
Yeah.
If they're a group of women that want to go see this movie just together or just with other women, why not? It doesn't affect me at all, so I don't care.
Yeah.
The thing that would bother me is if they were purposely doing all women screenings and they weren't doing all fanboy screening. If they're doing it while the movie's open, who cares? But if they're doing a pre-release of that and they're all you have to do is just be a woman to see this. And then you have a group men and women who have, been fanboys or fangirls of Wonder Woman for the last, 20 plus, who knows how many years, they could be 80 years old loving the comics since they were a kid or whatever. If they're then excluded, they're no, but I love this character. It's you might identify it, but I just love what they've done with this character.
Right.
I've stuck with that. I think would be unfair.
What was the results of this all women screening? Did it do well?
Yeah, it did well to the point where I think the Alamo Drafthouse said like, okay, we're just going to do a whole lot more of these, even for movies that aren't Wonder Woman.
Like
Which,
as a spectacle, maybe that's why. But I don't understand. Like honestly, when I heard it, I didn't really have any opinion. I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
it's just
I didn't care.
All right,
Like
that's a weird idea. It doesn't hurt me or bother me. It's one showing that nobody. It doesn't affect anything really.
Yeah, like it made no difference to me whatsoever because it's not like saying that no men anywhere could ever see this movie. Like if that's something they want to do, that's great. Good for them. Like it doesn't affect me at all.
It made me wonder, like, are there really that many women who want to go to this? Like just girls.
Yeah,
just the girls. They don't want to leave they want to leave all their husbands or boyfriends, home, who probably love it just as much.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they could be, but like, why would you want to do that? Like,
yeah. I don't know. Like I mean, like I said, I didn't care about it, but that was the only criticism that I had on that. Which going back to my original point was, like you have to show respect to the fans that, that kept this going like all this time, like, because without like the nerdy fanboys that get made fun of on Big Bang Theory, you're not. Like, there's no reason to make this. Without all those people, like, sticking through, like, the comic book crash and, the 90s and, when everything had the hologram cover and stuff like that.
Oh, the hologram cover.
Yeah. Like, without them, like, there's no point in making, all of these giant tentpole movies that you're getting 5 of a year, which I love because, I grew up, like...
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. The odds are you're going to get a good one, at least,
Yeah.
At least once, probably twice a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's at least 2 Marvel movies a year, so that's 2 good movies a year, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like my whole thing just comes down to like, it's not mine. It's not even really DC's or Marvel's really at this point. Mm-hmm. It's Disney and Warner Brothers, but at least pay respect to the people that have been creating and the people that have been supporting it all along. That's my whole point of view. So that's why I take offense when Suicide Squad isn't the movie that I want to see, because I want to see something similar to something that I've seen for so many years. I don't want to see a complete reimagining by,
Yeah, and the same applies to Superman and Man of Steel.
Of course,
who are you to decide that your version of Superman is better than the version that people have loved for 50, 60 years?
Yeah.
Like, that's probably all I need to say about that at this point.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Marvel, actually. We got some news.
Their Suicide Squad movie is coming out in 2019.
There's been a casting for the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, which is that's next year.
Yep.
This woman named Hannah John Kamen has been cast for an unknown role. Mm-hmm. She appeared in Game of Thrones and a very small role. I didn't even remember, to be honest. And something called the Killjoys, which I don't know either.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of it. Like, okay. I'm not positive. I think it might be one of those like streaming shows, but
yeah. So she's kind of unknown. She's not a big time in any way. But I wonder, is she going to be an important character?
Yeah. I mean, for the fact that she's unnamed, I'm wondering. It's going to be. My guess is going to be one of two things. It's going to be like either a female antagonist for Wasp, or you're casting somebody to be Janet Van Dyne. You're going to get possibly someone as the original Wasp.
That could be possible.
Here's
my idea that I had for it.
Okay.
She could play the Janice Lincoln version of Beetle.
Okay.
Who appeared recently in the Ant-Man comic, the new run.
Okay.
And it was a pretty good moment because I guess she was one of in the Superior Foes of Spider-Man comic as well.
All right.
And there was that. Okay, so Marvel had the Secret War thing, right, where the universe were sort of gonna end, and so everybody in the comics knew that was well, not all of them, but a bunch of the heroes knew that was gonna come, what was gonna happen, and there was like a big party that Ant-Man went to at the end of Days, and like Beetle was there, and they ended up hooking up. Like they met, and he's like, she's a super villain. Like I can't do that. I can't hook up with her, but they did it anyway.
Yeah,
and that sort of kept on going in the next run after that continued into Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And they have this sort of like back and forth on and off thing going on. So I think it'd be really cool to introduce into this movie.
Yeah.
You have, like
Yeah, because then you get like the love triangle kind of thing.
Right, exactly, with the Wasp and her, and she has a suit that's sort of like an Iron Man suit almost, but she gives her enhanced, strength, durability, and flight and other things. So I think that would be a fun thing I would like to see, and I'm really excited for this movie because I really loved Ant-Man, and I want to see how the Wasp is going to be fun.
Yeah, I am. Ever since Civil War, I've been really interested to see where this movie is going to go, because the last we saw of Scott Lang, he was incarcerated in the raft. We can assume he got broken out by Steve Rogers.
Yeah, he broke them all out. Yeah,
we can assume.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine any other reason why he was there. Otherwise, he's just like, hey, fugitive, but I'm just gonna go visit my buddy in the middle of the ocean. But I'm wondering how they're going to handle that, where now he's a fugitive.
Yeah, and we may have that actually situation might resolve itself before that.
Yeah,
because we're gonna get Infinity War before that, right? Yeah, that's next year. That's like July or June or whatever. It's earlier next year. Whereas Ant-Man, I think, is in August, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that might not be. They'll know how to deal with that, obviously. So we'll see with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Back to DC.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Connie Nelson, who played Queen Hippolyta in Wonder Woman, has said that her character and Robin Wright's character, who was Antiope, will appear in Justice League. And what that leads me to believe is that there's going to be a big flashback battle scene. Like the one we saw in the trailer is what people thought is pretty much definitely what it is.
Yeah. At this point, it has to be a flashback because Robin Wright's character is dead.
Yeah, spoilers, by the way, for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that character that you grew to love.
Yeah, in that short period of time that everyone just fell in love with. Yeah, the best part of the movie.
Look, if you're listening to this podcast chronologically, like you know.
Well, you could have skipped the Wonder Woman review.
But why would they?
I don't know why they would.
Such quality.
It was great.
Yeah.
I had a good time with that one.
Yeah, it was a good time. We had a guest.
Yeah. So that's neat. I mean, I guess, but it does give us a definite idea as to how it's going to play out with the, I guess, a sort of invasion. We saw that in the trailer of parademons.
The parademons.
Parademons.
The paratroopers is a very short fight scene.
Right. So we'll see like the Amazons fighting off, parademons in Darkseid's army, but probably not Darkseid. It'll probably be what's his name? Steppenwolf showing up. Maybe at that point too.
Granny goodness.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they'll have they'll end up with the mother box.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be a great way to have the Amazonians fighting off Granny Goodness and the Furies.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think we're gonna get that, but it would be nice.
Yeah, it would be a thing for it'd be fan service. It would, hopefully they would save that for something that would have a little bit more impact. Even though I could also see DC just completely not doing it because it is a little ridiculous and silly, more so along the lines of stuff you would see in, like a Marvel property like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but those characters, you said Granny Goodness and the Furies.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that. There's no reason why you can't. You've done plenty of ridiculous things. You could definitely do that. Why can't you have this weirder, older, lady with these other women who are her like elite squad? What's wrong with that?
Well, one's name is Stampa for one.
Well, you adjust the name a little bit. Not a big deal. It's not that much of a problem. It would be great because you already have these established Amazonian women, so you could have more women. You could have on the bad side, but but I don't expect them to do that because I don't think that they're going to take the time to cast good people to do that. Maybe they did it as a throwaway, which would not be cool.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think they have things planned out in the future. So if you were smart and you were doing it right, you could have planned out that Justice League 2 will be them going to Apocalypse and fighting Darkseid.
Yeah. And
have them written in as the idea and them cast for this movie and that movie and have them having a bigger role in that. But,
I mean, ideally,
I don't expect it.
Ideally, I'd rather see them show up in Supergirl.
Yeah, that would be more likely.
That's what I would Like even though what they're doing, what they could be doing with Rain, I think could be pretty good, especially because I like the direction the show's been going. I think I much would have rathered the the end of this previous season instead of like a baby. Like I think, if you have a baby, I think it would be cool if it ended up being delivered to Granny Goodness on Apocalypse. I think that would have been a little cooler.
Yeah, it'd be nice. We got a good representation of them in the Superman animated series.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
it was just silly enough where it was fun, but you could take it as seriously as you need to. Like I loved all the Apocalypse stuff they did in that show.
Yeah, they did a great job. And if anybody's interested in getting some knowledge about those stuff, go back and watch Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
they did a lot of this really well, and the DC WB people working on these things should probably go back and watch that too.
Yeah,
take some notes.
Yeah. That series and the Batman series are still two of the best representations of those characters.
Yeah, and Batman Beyond's probably one of the best original concept that they've based off of that.
Yeah, I'm still holding out hope that he shows up in Legends at some point.
Yeah, please, why not?
Yeah,
there's no reason.
Yeah,
no reason you can't.
Yeah, like how insane would that be? They're like next season Batman, and just build up for the whole summer and have it be Terry McGinnis.
Yeah,
like
that'd be great.
Yeah.
I would love it. They would win.
Yeah, they would. No, they would most definitely. Hear that, DC?
Yeah.
Hire us. We will be your creative consultants.
We just gave you keys to the ratings, all right?
Yeah. I'm sure we're the first people to ever suggest that to you, too.
So let's move on to some sad news.
Yeah.
Adam West, star of the
1966 Batman,
has died at the age of 88.
Yeah.
They said it was a short bout with leukemia, at that age.
Yeah, I mean...
And there's a lot of things that could get you.
Yeah, and, for him to... I was surprised, even though I know he's been working a long time and he was getting up there, I was surprised to hear he was 88 just for how active he was.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was one of those people where it really seems like even though he was older, he never really showed the sign of age. He was still working. He was still active.
Yeah, he just did the voice work for that animated special they did.
Yeah, which was, it was about the same quality as the 66 show.
Yeah,
but it was still fun.
I got through about half of it.
Yeah,
I wanted to go back. I don't know what happened. I just kind of gave up.
Yeah, I think you had to be a real fan of that to really dig it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that bummed me out. To hear that, because he was one of the Batman of my childhood. There were three. There was
absolutely
there was Michael Keaton, Kevin Conroy, and Adam West. And I did for the longest time. I did hold out hope that if they ever did a live action Batman Beyond, if he didn't play it corny, if he just played it just like super straight and old and grizzled, it would have been really great to see him, as, old Bruce Wayne training, Terry McGinnis. Just, I think that would have been like a really cool thing, just to get him back. Because it seems like he never did the Spock thing or the Shatner thing that he was doing for a while, where it was like, no, I want nothing to do with that role. He seemed to have just really embraced it.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah.
I think he's the first Batman that I remember. I may have seen, I don't remember specifically when I saw Michael Keaton's Batman, but he was definitely the one I knew the most when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I used to watch that on this little TV I had. I had this little tiny black and white TV. It was probably like 13 inches.
Yeah.
I don't know where. It had like dials on it.
Yep.
I'm not that old, but that TV was really old when I used it, but it was like probably a grandfather's or something. I don't know whose TV it was.
Yeah.
But that's what my parents let me use for the first TV I ever got to watch, and I was watching stuff like the original Star Trek series, and I was watching Batman, the Adam West version, and it was just a ton of fun. It's not what you would expect now. People would scoff at this now if you saw this. But
it's completely different from, it's very similar to like what was going on in the comic at the time, but for what Batman has later become, which is closer to what you're seeing with the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. But it's just super fun. It's lighthearted. there was some peril where, you have the movie where you have world leaders being turned into dust that Batman can then just reconstitute with a little water.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of villains, a lot of
Yeah.
great takes on the villains.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of good and bad to hear that. Bad that we never got to see it, but good, to know that they were still had the stuff going where they had scripts written, to introduce things like Two-Face, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's just, that was, like you said, it was definitely like, for me, it was probably the second most watched or recognized Batman from my childhood. The animated series.
Yeah,
Was
well,
the
which
prime
came
one.
later, so I
Yeah.
watched that,
Yeah,
and that became my favorite, of course.
yeah, yeah. I actually think I started watching the Adam West show after the animated series because I think
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it obviously came later. I mean,
Yeah.
in my life,
well, no, yeah,
I watched that old show first just because I was watching old reruns of
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah. So, yeah, no, Adam West will be missed. So,
For sure, yeah.
remembered
Yeah.
fondly and missed.
Yeah, he's done a lot of other interesting voice acting work, on Family Guy, of course.
Oh,
Everybody,
the mayor of Coho.
yeah. I mean, just a great character we all pretty much loved for whatever specific reason, but I mean,
just for how reverent and just ridiculous, he allowed that character to be like essentially playing him like a hyper surreal version of himself.
yeah, right.
Like I love like the one episode where he attacked and then like beat the Noid to death.
The Noid from
Noid.
like the
The
Pizza Hut.
Domino's,
Domino's Noid.
commercials, where he chose to not avoid the Noid and just mercilessly beat him in his mayor office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he'll be remembered for generations to come because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely kept his memory going for sure. And I wonder if Family Guy they'll do something special.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
That like they have to do something to address, someone who was, essentially part of the family of that show.
Yeah, I mean, I've fallen off on that show. I haven't watched it in a while. I don't know what's going on in
Yeah.
the new episodes. So.
Yeah, he's still there. Like he was ever present.
Yeah.
I think I'm just watching it. I think I dropped off for a while, but I'm just still kind of like watching it as a completist.
Yeah.
I think like Rick and Morty has kind of taken over as
Oh,
the
yeah.
animated show that
For sure.
I obsess over. But yeah, no, he was still there. Like he was one of the people that I think his mortality was something that was kind of taken for granted. Where he's just one of those names where like you might not think about him every day, he might not be ever present, but he's just one of those people who are like, oh yeah, oh no, he's a name.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, he'll definitely be remembered fondly by us all.
Yeah.
So let's move on to some more Marvel news.
Yeah.
We've got from Spider-Man: Homecoming, Zendaya's character
Yep.
was kind of revealed through the junior novelization of the movie, which seems to be a trend that's happening now.
Yeah.
In a couple of things. She's Michelle Toombs,
Yep.
likely the daughter of the Vulture. I don't think it's specifically said, but
Yeah.
she either is daughter directly, granddaughter, even,
Granddaughter.
or
Yeah. He's up there enough to
niece,
have a teenage granddaughter.
Yeah,
some relative.
Yeah.
Of.
But most likely daughter. And at first, I thought maybe that's not great, but it's fine, because
Yeah.
I don't want her to be. I'd rather her be sort of an original character. I mean, apparently there is a daughter of the Vulture in the comics somewhere.
Yeah.
But no one that really anybody really knows. I guess I was disappointed because I was on the train that she was that Michelle. Was it Rodriguez maybe or not Rodriguez? I don't know, whatever the character was.
Yeah.
In Marvel Comics, in Spider-Man's lore, where she was a police officer that's Peter Parker knew from college or something, and he later met and had sort of a romance with. That would have been cool. I would have made a younger version of that character. Would have been nice. But this also works.
Yeah, I don't know if that really would have fit exactly with where. I don't know, the look of this movie seems to go, where it seems like most of the characters outside of Peter Parker seem to be like a complete reimagining where Ned Leeds,
True. Yeah.
He came in later on as I believe a reporter, and spoilers later Hobgoblin, Hobgoblin, right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm confusing because there were 1.5 million Green Goblins, and and then but you also have like Flash Thompson, who, doesn't seem to be anything close to, like who he was like in the comics, where, like let's face it, Joe Manganiello played him once.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but this was young Joe Manganiello.
Yeah,
he didn't look at all like what he looks like now.
He still looked like he could beat you up.
Yeah, for sure. And the idea of the high school bully isn't the same as what it used to be.
Yeah, now all they need is a Twitter account to be a bully.
Yeah, exactly. You just need to be the popular kid. You don't have to be the biggest, strongest kid.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But her character being daughter of Vulture, I mean that does add something if indeed she's their daughter. But being related to the Vulture adds something to her relevance to the story.
Well, what worries me about it, because when I heard about it, immediately I went to like, okay, so now we have this franchise is Harry Osborn,
Possibly, but
yeah,
it's a female character. It's definitely not going to play out the same way, unless you read more into their relationship in the original Spider-Man.
You mean all those sleepovers were innocent? Yeah, no, it's
we're not sure.
Yeah, no, but. But once again, you have, Peter being friends with the kid or grandkid or relative of the big bad villain of the movie.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know that Vulture's going to be the longer term, like ever present thing that Green Goblin sort of was. I mean, he obviously only lasted the one movie, but his presence extended far into the second movie and the third, even with.
Yeah, Harry
becoming Green Goblin. So I don't think we'll get anything like that with her character.
No, I wouldn't. I would hope not. But I'm still excited for the movie. I still trust that it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's coming soon. It's a month away about.
Yeah, just under a month.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time regardless.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't seen Spider-Man in a long time, even though how long ago was Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Hasn't been that long.
Yeah, it's not that long, but for some reason,
I'm gonna ask the internet because that's gonna bother me.
I guess for me, it's more that movie. I just hate it so much.
It had.
It's like I checked out. I almost acted as though it didn't exist because immediately I was just.
Dude, that was only 3 years ago.
Yeah,
it's 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in love with the movie. There was enough in it that. I could get through just one show of it. But yeah, there was a lot that I didn't love.
It's all just a retread of things that we've seen before, which is what this one makes this one look so much better.
Yeah.
In that we're not getting any origin stuff. We're not getting the same characters in any way.
Yeah.
And it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so we can get appearances from people like Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's just something we never could do in the old movies, and that's gonna make this much more interesting.
Yeah, and that is the one thing that I am kind of really excited for is that they're not doing the Lex Luthor General Zod thing that that Superman can't get away with or get away from, where you're getting like a second tier villain, that they're desperately trying to make look interesting, which I still don't like the look of the Vulture. I understand.
Really? I love it. I think it's awesome.
I don't. It's the thing that I just find really jarring with a lot of the Marvel villains is that you have Iron Man that looks right off the page. You have Spider-Man that looks right off the page. Like it's definitely like more detailed and change a little for it, but but it looks great. It's exactly Thor looks completely. You just look at him like it's Thor, and it looks as ridiculous as it does on the page, but it makes sense.
But do you want Vulture straight off the page?
Well, I didn't want the Vulture at all.
Okay,
but I think, and you're gonna really disagree with this. I think if you're gonna go this route, I think the Rhino from the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the good compromise.
How is that a good compromise?
Because
What are we talking about?
Because it
That
looked
was like the worst thing you could do.
okay. Maybe not that one, but like, because
He was a giant mechanized dude in a rhino suit. Yeah, it was awful. It was so bad.
I think that was very much flavored by the rest of the movie.
And he was this awful stereotypical Russian buffoon of a character.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah, I mean they didn't give Paul Giamatti enough to work with,
He
but
was hamming it up all day.
Yeah.
I felt like he must have just thought that was a hilarious joke to act so terribly in a movie.
yeah, I do remember reading interviews with him where he was talking about how he was a huge fan of Spider-Man as a kid and how his favorite villain was the Rhino, and that's why he went after that role so he could play it. So yeah, okay, I guess I'm not remembering it correctly because as we're talking, yeah, I mean, I just remember it being like a guy in a rhino suit. I guess if it was okay, just give.
It was real clunky. It was huge and it stood up at one point and, God.
Okay.
The front of it like flipped over his head, and it made the rhino horn
I just
thing.
don't. Okay.
What we see.
Let me. I just thought of a good way to explain why I don't love the look of this. Look at Falcon. Okay.
That's another example I would have brought up as to why you can't do off the page.
Yeah, but Falcon looks cool though. Like,
he looks really cool.
So why can't they do that? Because I think they have a perfect out explaining why the Vulture looks the way he does, where he actually has the wings. He doesn't have like the the drone or the quadcopter like propellers like he does in this movie. Because you have in Winter Soldier,
but it's got wings. It's like a.
It looks dumb, but
I think it looks intimidating, and that's what you need. You see, he can't be just like Falcon because he can't just be a guy with a wing pack, because that's not intimidating.
I think he looks ridiculous. I don't think he looks intimidating in this.
All right, well, yeah, that's your opinion. My opinion is that
it is my correct opinion.
He looks scary as hell. If that thing was coming at you, you would be terrified, pissing your pants. All right.
Yeah.
If Falcon was coming at you, you'd be like, "What? What's this dude in a weird jet suit? Like, oh my god, he might hit me!" But it's not like you're scared of that.
No, like
and
both of them.
And if it's the comic book Vulture, you'd be laughing hysterically about a guy in a green tight suit.
Yeah, with like a furry collar.
A really old man, yeah, with a furry collar.
Let's be honest. Okay, Carl, let's be honest. If any of the three of them came at us like in the real world, like just like walk into your car, that's coming at you, you're running no matter what.
You're running for different reasons. You're like, this guy's an insane homeless person. He's probably gonna ask you for money for alcohol.
If a guy comes flying down in a wingsuit, your initial thought is this
no,
guy's
you said
homeless?
if he walked up to you.
No, I said comes at you. Okay. I'm assuming
he's
that a
flying
guy
at me.
Okay, yeah, he's flying at you. And also, if any of those people are in any of those suits, if they're homeless, just sell the suit and buy us. Just get an apartment.
Yeah, right. All right, let's move on. It's on to something I think we both enjoyed.
Okay.
The trailer for the Black Panther movie, teaser trailer, came out.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see it this early.
Yeah, I didn't really have any expectations for when that was coming out. Mm-hmm. Black Panther has definitely been something I've been aware of, just not really anticipating, just for how little I knew about any of it. He was actually the character I liked the least in Civil War.
Really? I thought he was great.
I thought he was good.
Perfect representation.
Yeah, I thought he was really good in Civil War. I think you were supposed to feel this way in the movie, but I really hated his characterization throughout almost the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's not supposed to be likable in that respect.
Yeah, which, made it really hard for me to be excited about the movie coming out. Mm-hmm. I think the trailer looks really fun, though.
And I don't think even in this movie he's going to be that likable character.
Yeah, no.
Which is fine. That's different. First, my initial comment from this whole trailer was, this is not like any other superhero movie we've ever seen. It doesn't
No.
have the same sort of storyline. And
I guess you haven't seen The Phantom.
well, I'm not gonna watch The Phantom.
Phantom was a good movie.
So the trailer I think it looks incredible so far.
I don't know if I think you're assuming my opinion is a lot higher than it is.
Well, I'm not thinking you say it looks incredible, but
Yeah.
I think you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I love the aesthetic of all the costumes
Yeah.
and what we're seeing of Wakanda. The different tribes
Yeah.
have different looks to them, different armor, different
Yeah.
things. There's some really cool technology with that ship he has.
Yeah.
And there's one shot with one of the girls has these like gauntlets that look like Panther faces,
Yeah.
and they're some sort of guns or weapons.
Yeah,
Those look
cool.
really cool, whatever they are.
Yeah, I think they're gonna need a lot of explaining to do in that movie.
That's where the Everett Ross character is probably going to come in.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning we see him and
Claw
talking, and he doesn't really know about Wakanda, Everett Ross. And
Yeah.
he's obviously, in the comics, he's like the sort of liaison
Yeah.
to Wakanda. So
Yeah.
if he becomes that role, he's probably going to be learning a lot about that society, and that way they can teach the audience at the same time. That would work really well. And we see him in other shots in there, so he's definitely going to Wakanda.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for it to have like that technology being like so commonplace, I think it's a little weird, but I do understand it where it is like just a very closed off culture.
Yeah, I like how they said that they sort of like hide it from the world by making there's like a on the front face it looks like a sort of primitive society, but then they have all that stuff behind there. That's going to be cool because we're going to see a society that sort of is parallel to the rest of the world. It's on its own timeline of.
I think it's like way beyond parallel. I think it's way more advanced.
Yeah, well, I mean, it grew up on its own, you know, alongside the rest of the world, and it didn't really interact with the rest of the world, and its technology developed on its own, unhindered by anything else going on, while also having this advanced metal to deal with that nobody else had.
Yeah, the vibranium.
Vibranium, right? And that's something that's going to be cool. So they still have that sort of tribal aspect going on, but with all that technology. It's not a setting we've really seen. I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing I really do hope for this movie, that would be cool, or maybe have it show up in Infinity War, is because at the end of Civil War you have Captain and Bucky in Wakanda.
Right.
I think it would be a really cool thing if, while he was there, because he left the shield behind, T'Challa gave Steve Rogers a new shield.
Oh yeah, I feel like that'll be the stinger actually.
Yeah.
The post credit thing will have Captain America talking to him. It was like, oh, Black Panther, like, I made you a new shield, like you asked, and have it look somewhat different.
Yeah, don't have it be like the Star and Stripes. Have it be something new, even if it's just a plain shield. Like, even that I'm cool with.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's at the end of Civil War. He's kind of sort of admitting that he's no longer going to be Captain America. And so maybe he does take on a new persona. Like Nomad.
The Nomad. Yeah. I mean,
maybe something better than that. But
yeah, I mean, whatever it is, like I think that would be a really cool thing to do in it. To have it be like a pure, he gets new like pure vibranium, shield.
That's a great way to put him in the movie in some way, because it doesn't need to be in any other real way.
Yeah.
And Bucky also, I mean, that could also be part of the stinger, and he comes back and like, oh, we need Bucky for some reason or whatnot. Who knows?
Yeah. Or they just go the route of they wake up Bucky and they're like, the world needs a Captain America, and they give Bucky the shield.
Give Bucky the shield.
Right. He was
be
Captain
cool
America.
too.
He was Captain America for a while.
Yeah.
Or they just give like everybody a shield, and like, because apparently everybody's been Captain America for a little while.
I could almost see them going that route in the next movie, having Falcon and Bucky being Captain America at the same time as well. Yeah. Give them both shield. Maybe one of them, or maybe even this is getting beyond. Actually, I'll bring this up because I did read this one thing that Chris Evans talked about renegotiating a contract with Marvel and going to do more with them.
Yeah.
And he did specifically say, like, because of what they wanted to do with Avengers 3 and 4, that he did sign on to be in that. So, like, he was only signed on to be in the third Avengers movie, but since now they're making 2, he signed on for that.
Because I remember a while ago, I think he said he was only, and this was years ago, he said he was only interested in doing up to the third Captain America movie, which would have been Civil War, and then he was talking about retiring from acting and just trying to be a director.
Right.
So I mean, I think that speaks volumes to either how much he loves playing the character or how much they're paying him.
Right. Yeah. And it's probably a combination of both.
Yeah.
Because I think it's been a great relationship for a lot of the people working on these projects, that it's almost no sweat off his back to, like, I'll work with guys I like on a project I like for a lot of money. Like, there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really popular.
Yeah.
You know, so, but with that idea that he's signed on for this movie, and potentially we don't know if it's any more than that. I think that could be his last.
Yeah.
So maybe at the end of that, he could die.
Yeah.
And then we could get Bucky and Falcon both taking on the shield. Now, if Cap got a new one, like we're saying in Black Panther, and the old one's still out there, then there's 2 shields.
Yeah.
And you got both of them getting them.
Yeah.
It would work out really well.
And don't forget, Cap still had that heater shield that was still in the Smithsonian. So now we have an option for a third Captain
Which
America.
one? Like the old style looking shield, the 3-point type shield.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Don't be dismissive, Carl. Okay.
That'll get destroyed in one shot.
Probably. No, he deflected some bullets with that, didn't he?
Yeah, bullets. Okay.
Yeah.
Where he's not going to be going up against bullets, probably. A few. Okay, maybe a few.
I mean, that's kind of.
It's got to protect him against laser beams and crap. All right.
I don't. It could reflect light.
Yeah.
Just take the paint off, make it shiny.
All right.
Yeah, we got way far away from this trailer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there anything else you want to say about the trailer that you saw in it?
No, not really. I mean, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go. You know, it's very much. You know, I put it very much in the line of Doctor Strange, where it was a character that I actively didn't care about for a long time, just because it was a character that I knew about and I had read stuff with. I think a lot of it came from more toward the end of when I was reading X-Men comics, where I think you know, he married Storm, and so I knew him somewhat from that.
Right.
But so it's not a character that I'm very well versed in, which kind of makes me a little excited to see it, because you know, it's a comic property that it's somewhat new to me. You know, it's one that I don't feel encouraged enough to actually go back and reread any of it.
I mean, I'm really encouraged to go back and read any comics.
Yeah.
But that's different. For me, I mean, it's more, I'm interested in learning about a new character that, you know, has been around, but, you know, I haven't really paid any attention to. And I want reasons to look into and like new characters, and I like a new start for them. Yeah. And that's what a lot of these movies have been doing.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that they don't feel the need to do an origin story.
Yeah, I mean, we got basically his origin in Civil War, and we'll get more of his history, but it's not going to be an origin story in that way.
Yeah, like I just like that it. Like I'm sure in the new Spider-Man movie, there's gonna be a couple references to, you know, the kid getting bit by the spider, but
we'll probably learn about the Black Panther mantle, where it came from, and how it maybe a little bit of how it came to be, because that might have to explain these other tribes that are going on as well, and maybe the source of powers for other ones like Man Ape, and there's another one too. I don't know, whatever the other characters are named, but on that, Kevin Feige said to Entertainment Weekly, he was talking about Black Panther's powers, and in quote, he said, "People who read the comics would be familiar with the heart-shaped herb and the ceremonies that surround that. That's partially spiritual. We certainly don't call it magic, but there's vibranium that has been interwoven within that soil and that land for thousands of years. So there are other things going on with that." And then Ryan Coogler also talked about the same thing, and he said, "The heart-shaped herb is how Black Panther achieves his powers. He can fight hand-to-hand with Cap, who's a super soldier, so he has super strength and heightened instincts that give him his enhanced abilities. The heart-shaped herb is what Black Panthers over the generations would consume once they earn the title, which gives them their physical edge.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
it's great that they're incorporating that into it as well, and it does sort of retroactively explain the scene in Civil War where without the suit, Black Panther is able to fight the Winter Soldier and go up against him there. So that's great, because it is, instead of it just being like, oh, he's just a guy who has a suit.
Yeah.
Now there's also some sort of spiritual special herb thing that they make, and it's related to vibranium. I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, I like that it's layered. I like that it's not that it's actually almost a cross between Captain America and Iron Man, where he's got a special suit, but he also has the the biological enhancement, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I mean, like I said, it's. I'm interested to see the movie. There are parts of it that I'm excited for. I think I think the thing that I'm most excited for about this movie, and like I don't really follow like directors from movie to movie, because like what makes one movie great, just might not like impact the next thing they do. But Ryan Coogler, I loved Creed.
Yeah, Creed was incredibly really good movie.
Creed is probably tied with Rocky as my favorite Rocky movie. Like I think it was.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, I think it was incredibly well done. I was, by the time the credits rolled, I was just amazed at how invested I was in the story and the characters. Michael B. Jordan, I'm glad to see is working with him again.
He's in Black Panther.
Yeah, and just to bring everything back to Chronicle, he was great in that.
He was.
So he's, we don't have to acknowledge the other superhero property he was in, but yeah, no. So that's probably the thing that I'm excited most about, is knowing that there's somebody helming it that has that understanding of like story and character. So yeah. So I mean, everything aside about it, it's I'm interested enough where I'm excited to see the movie, but I'm also, it's hard to fight 34 years of indifference to a character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how that should matter. This is a new beginning. You don't have to invest a lot of time to watch a 2-hour movie.
Well, yeah, no, and I mean, obviously, I'm going to see the movie. Like, I mean, I'm not.
Comics, like getting involved in a comic character is a daunting task, because their history spans usually a long era, and you have to go back to old issues that you may either can't find, or I mean, you might be able to get them easily digitally now in places like that, but they might not be great comics. Yeah. And a lot of characters' origins aren't really that good. It's just that's where it started, and eventually someone took that and did something really good with it. Yeah. And now we know them today as a popular character. Yeah.
A great example of that is Guardians of the Galaxy, where if you can go back to the first issue where they first came from, and you're not going to see a single recognizable character outside of like Yondu, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very open-minded toward this movie. Like not just superhero movie, but like every movie I see, I hope it's really good, because I don't want to waste 2 hours. And even if this movie's bad, it's not like it's going to detract from the other movies that I've seen and enjoyed or that are coming out. So yeah, I don't know. I do like the take that they're going with it though. So
yeah, very much looking forward to this one. So I have seen The Mummy.
Yep, I have not.
I'd like to talk a little bit about that, because we did talk about this whole Dark Universe thing.
Yeah.
And where it's going to go. So what is
coming up is Carl's commentary on The Mummy and my commentary on Carl's commentary of The Mummy.
I don't know if I don't want to give spoilers on that. Maybe I'll avoid it. It's not like there's too much that's a big deal to spoil, but this movie's not good. Yeah. It's not a terrible movie.
Okay. Yeah. And okay, so for our listeners who have been following us along, Carl says that with almost a little bit of surprise, whereas I think all along I've been saying that it didn't look good.
I was optimistic about this. I wanted this to do well.
Me saying that it doesn't look good was me being optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest problem with this movie is, I would definitely say, the writing.
Yeah.
Like, the writing is not good from most of it. The characters aren't well written or developed. The dialogue's not anything great. It's a lot of stuff that you've heard before. The jokes aren't good.
Yeah.
You know, you don't care about Tom Cruise's character. I do feel that he really isn't probably the best casting for that character.
Yeah.
You know, he's fine, but he doesn't have too much interesting to do in this. And
does he run?
Yeah, of course he runs.
Yeah.
He does.
I just have to make sure that he continues the streak.
He definitely does. The standout, of course, in this movie is Sofia Boutella as the mummy. Like, she's
just great.
Yeah, she's really great in everything she does, and I can't wait to see her get a really good role in a really good movie somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, not that, I mean, I liked Kingsman a lot, but it wasn't a big role for her.
Yeah.
And I like Star Trek Beyond too, but again, and that was actually a bigger role for her.
Yeah.
But I don't know that movie didn't do very well. It did okay.
Which is surprising, because it actually was tied with the first J.J. Abrams verse for like quality. Like, I don't know, I really liked that movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So this movie, you know, you have a lot of generic action. You know, most of the action's not great. You know, that sequence that we see in the airplane, it's like a zero gravity sequence while the airplane's crashing, is pretty cool. My favorite stuff in this movie is actually the world building stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the whole Prodigium thing with Russell Crowe being Dr. Jekyll.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. I enjoyed it. I like how they explain that they're sort of they're basically studying evil.
Yeah.
In the hopes and how to defeat it, as if it's the way they explain sort of Hyde in this movie is that he's did some sort of experimentation or something, trying to like find a chemical or like physical representation of evil.
The evil gene.
Yeah, basically something like that. And I guess something went wrong, and now he has this evil side of him that's infected
like
him.
Something out of Austin Powers.
Well, it's pretty cool, and he has to inject himself with the stuff to stop him from turning into Hyde.
That's kind of cool. That's a little reverse. Where, like, he had to inject himself or take something to turn him into Hyde. So
yeah, so it's pretty cool. And when he becomes Hyde is one of the highlight moments. I think I really enjoyed that sequence.
Did he say Hyde smash and then fight something that looked like Doomsday?
No, but he has like a weird accent. Like he speaks differently when he's Hyde.
He just has like this really crass like Cockney accent.
I think it is actually. Really? I think that's what it is.
God.
It's pretty good, actually.
I desperately love when I make fun of something and it turns out that that's the case. Oh god, that's so stupid.
Yeah, so it's not as like exaggerated, but it's just watch that sequence. Probably all you need to know.
Please tell me he just calls everybody govna. Like,
no, so you know, the effects of the mummy at times are cool. They do this one cool thing where she sort of needs to call like the sands. And actually all the sand comes from all the glass.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like all the glass all over all the different buildings keeps
that's
shattering and turning into the mist of sand. Yeah. Like, yeah, that
makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Glass is made out of.
Yeah,
so, yeah, sure.
So like that was
cool.
That was a smart thing to do in the movie. But yeah, otherwise there's like she makes these generic like zombie type creatures that go after them.
Dance to Thriller.
It would have been better if they did. They're so, like, I don't care about them. They're not interesting. You know, at times they look neat, but some of the moments where they're, like, underwater is kind of neat and fighting them off there. But they're so generic and forgettable, and you don't care.
Yeah.
There's just... It's just kind of sad. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't recommend bothering with it, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I did read that they... I don't think they were. I think it was more so an homage. I don't think they were actually like canonically like tying it in, but that there was actually a conscious tie-in to the Brendan Fraser mummy movies.
There was. I noticed they had the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the movie briefly. Yeah. Like they kind of flash by it and.
Yeah.
They don't mention it. It's just there. You see
it. Like I think I read that like somebody hit somebody in the face with it or something, but.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, you saw the movie,
but I did see the book.
Yeah.
So I was like,
so like that's kind of cool that they're at least
Yeah.
like paying homage to it, because it is like a fairly, if you are a fan of those movies, which I was, the first two anyway,
Yeah, they were
it is a
good.
very like distinctive looking thing. So
Yeah, those movies are better because they had it. See, actually, that's the big problem with this movie. Also, is the tone of the movie is all over the place.
Yeah.
Like they try to be funny, they try to have a lot of action, they try to have scary moments, and it's never consistent. It's always jumping back and forth, and you never really identify with any of those tones in this movie.
yeah. I
So
don't know. It just, I don't
so
know.
yeah, like bad direction in my opinion, and bad writing.
Yeah.
Is really what killed this movie, and it's a bad start for this dark universe.
Well,
But
it sounds like it had two false starts then.
yeah, hopefully if they continue, like like I said, the world building stuff was good in this.
Yeah.
So like they can build off of that, and seeing as how they're obviously not going to do a Mummy 2,
Yeah.
they might still be able to continue this, whatever movie they go with.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise's character, I kind of think should be gone. I don't care about this character, but he continues on. He does get some sort of power. I won't tell specifically what it is, but it's not that interesting.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not bad. And the Mummy, of course, like she is defeated, but not gone.
He has infinite thetans.
Infinite Thetans, yeah. Yeah, his Thetan level.
His Thetan level is off the charts. He is the second coming of Xenu.
Yeah, that's probably.
All due respect to
Why not?
Scientology.
Just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, disappointing, but
To some.
yeah.
Sounds like it was pretty much as expected by others.
I think probably most people did maybe expect that out of it, but
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing they could have hoped for this movie was to have it just be a popcorn movie, just have it be just like lighthearted and fun action, just
yeah.
But,
I mean, it does sort of in some ways achieve that. Like if you go in not expecting anything, you're probably not gonna hate everything in it. You're gonna be like, it is what it is. It's fine. It's a movie. You could sit through it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be excited about anything really, other than, like I said, the world building stuff.
Yeah.
And the Mummy character, which I wanted more of. Just the way they presented it. They do this thing in the beginning, which I thought was a mistake, was to tell her story in exposition style.
Yeah.
Just like they were showing the backstory, in Egypt, but there was a voiceover telling you what was happening.
Yeah.
And I would have rather it had just been actually watching those events play out and have that be a bigger part of the movie.
Yeah, well, there's one thing, and we touched on a little in the Wonder Woman review, that it's probably my favorite way in movies to just like show history or show a story, because they did in Wonder Woman, they did it beautifully in Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows, where you do like a hyper stylized like animated sequence. Like,
Okay, yeah.
Did
you like the Man of Steel one?
Man of Steel one?
Yeah, where they
when
that,
they're
like
on
sort
the
of
ship.
pin art looking like.
Yeah, that was all right.
It was neat looking.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked it better if it was just like fully immersive, instead of just it being a thing that, Superman was watching. I think I would have liked it if it was like completely immersive. Because I highly recommend, even if you don't like the Harry Potter stuff, just like YouTube, The Tale of the Three Brothers. Like the animation, it's like the stop motion animation that I do.
See, I don't even remember that part.
Dude, because I know you like animation. It's just incredibly like.
Which one is it in? Which Harry Potter?
The last one.
Okay, well that's the one I didn't rewatch.
Okay.
I watched all 7 movies, first 7 movies with my fiance because she hadn't really watched them.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Why do people like this so much?" I'm like, "Well, we'll watch them. They're good movies."
Yeah, they're fun.
She liked them all up until 6, and then the 7th one, she's like, "Oh, that wasn't good."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. That movie is not a good movie."
Yeah.
And you were at that point where like, you know what? I don't need to watch it anymore. I don't need to catch up on this last movie.
Yeah.
So I don't remember it that well. I only saw it once in theaters. I didn't love it. Thought it was fun. So it was fine.
Yeah. And it's not a movie that I go back and rewatch, but I have actually gone back and rewatched that one part, just because I think it's just done stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
Just like like Kubo and the Shoestrings.
Kubo's
Yeah.
really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Cool animation. Pretty
Yeah.
good story. Like, it's not nothing that's gonna blow you away, but
Yeah.
as far as story wise go, but it's interesting and it's worth seeing for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I really like I don't know. I really like that aspect of storytelling. Just like that and a voiceover, I think is a great. It's a great and interesting way to do like tell like some history or just like handle some exposition instead of just like pounding you over the face with it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, so that's probably gonna wrap it up for today.
Yeah, I'd say so.
We have the next part of the villain ranking.
Yep.
We're gonna put on here. It's gonna be number 20 through 11. Yep.
Yep.
Got some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
We could, if I briefly wanted to say, Ares wasn't part of this from Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But if he was going to be in this list, I would rank him pretty darn low.
No, let's do this really quick.
Can we?
Let's just
appearance.
Appearance
In the toilet.
Yeah, no, I'd say probably a 3 for that.
Yeah, not even a good acting choice.
No, I love the actor, but I don't think he was great.
I like the actor, but was he right for this role?
No. I also thought it was weird that when he was cast out of Olympus, that he had the mustache.
Yeah,
that was super weird.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, I guess I don't know if people had mustaches then, but I just think it's weird that he still had like that very like 20s styled mustache.
Yeah, it looked kind of silly.
So that was weird. Yeah. So
personality wise, pretty generic.
I would say 5.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, around there.
Just because it was on average. I liked him as a person. I couldn't really get a feel of like where he was going as a god, but yeah. So I mean.
Yeah.
So
I would probably go below average, like 4.
Really?
Yeah, like a 4 because
I mean it's still close.
Like he's barely interesting.
Yeah.
But I sort of like him when he's the normal guy, the British guy trying to, But again, you don't see him that much.
Yeah.
He basically has a line here and there, and you're like, oh, the guy's a character who's going to be important somewhere later.
Yeah.
And then when he's Ares, he's just this angry, like, I need to kill you and cause war and blah blah blah. I don't care what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just die.
Yeah. So, yeah, that. And then overall threat, though, I'd give him an 8 or a 9.
Really?
Yeah, because he killed gods, and he has enabled an entire world to go to war.
I mean, if you want to attribute all war to him, but I don't know that that's really true. The movie doesn't even imply that it's all him.
But just World War I, though, which they did attribute to him. How many, compared to everyone else on the list, he's killed the most. He's been responsible for the most people dying. Yeah. He's the first true global threat that has actually not just been a threat to the world, but has impacted the entire world. So I'd give him like a 9.
I mean, it's a decent threat. It's not terrible. I mean, he's a good physical match for Wonder Woman, but ultimately he's defeated relatively easily, it seemed to me.
Is he, though?
I mean, she is the God Killer, so she's supposed to defeat him. So yeah, I mean, you could give him a decent for the war thing. Yeah, maybe I could give him a 7. Be generous. I don't want to give him too much because he kind of died like a little wimp. Like it wasn't good. And even like I said with the thing with the war, like he may have started this war. I don't know though. His real influence was the gas, which was real dangerous.
Well, that was. But I wouldn't say that his real influence. That's just something that he was showing.
Showed us, right? So we don't know how much he really caused this war.
I mean, I think just his presence. I don't think he was actually supposed to be shown going around to like everyone just like tapping people on the shoulder, like kill that Franz Ferdinand guy.
Are we going to assume that World War II never happened in this universe?
No,
because he doesn't exist. I mean, come on, like that's still going to happen. A war that's even worse probably than.
Well, that's why I think. They shouldn't actually kill him.
Yeah, I
think the way I would take it if I were writing these movies, which I'm obviously not, because then they would be so much better, is I would take it that he faked his death to lull her into a false sense of security, and and then have it be a continued thing. I still think what I said at the in the review, that it would have made so much more sense that Ares is revealed at the end of the movie, but she doesn't defeat him. She doesn't even fight him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would have made so much more sense to me. Because then she has this ongoing battle, against just the concept of war and violence in general, and that gives her more of a purpose. Whereas now her only purpose was to fight Ares, and according to the movie, Ares is dead, so there's really no reason for her to exist other than to hang out with Etta Candy.
Yeah. So yeah, my score would have been about 14. which would have put him right around Electro. So that says a lot.
All right, and then let's see, mine, what was it? 9, 5, and 3.
Yeah, that was pretty generous.
Yeah, so 17.
I don't know if it was on your scale. But...
That puts him like square in the middle. Like
yeah.
we'd be hitting him in this upcoming section.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, coming up, 20, yep. Number 20 through 11.
Yep.
All right, number 20. Oh, and I'm in the top 20 here.
Top 20.
Top 20. I've got Ronan at number 20 from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, I have the Lizard.
Wow, is there that
the
high?
Lizard. Like I said, some of these surprised me too,
yeah, right?
dude.
So Ronan, I gave him a pretty high mark on appearance because I really like the costume a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The choice of actors, fine. Doesn't play too much into appearance, but that costume is really fantastic.
Yeah.
Then as far as personality goes, like again, another character we don't get a lot of screen time with. Like I do like his conviction, that he's basically kind of like a religious zealot almost for his alien species.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't get too much out of him, so like he gets very middling marks. Like I literally give him a 5 because like there's some cool stuff, but we don't get enough of it. So.
Yeah.
And threat level, I mean, he's ranked fairly high in that, like, he had an Infinity Stone. He was already very powerful. He could have destroyed planets. But, like, he lost points just because, like, the way he lost with the little dance-off thing, which, again, I liked. I thought was funny.
Yeah.
Like, he just kind of got owned, like, silly in a way that lost a little bit. But, like, I gave him good ranks on it. So, like, I liked him a lot. I thought he was pretty good. He ranks at 20. All
right. So, the Lizard... I really like the casting for Kirk Connors. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but I really enjoy him. I thought that was handled really well. I liked the look that they gave the Lizard.
Reese Ifans?
That's
his name.
Yeah.
He had he was such a ripoff though of Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1. So
yeah, I mean, yes and no.
I didn't like him as much because he played that same role.
But dude, like, I mean, you can't. I didn't look at it like I kind of took that out of it because, it's repetitive in the comics. So I mean, it's faithful to the source material, for however redundant Marvel in the '60s was.
Yeah.
But I still like that. I thought his portrayal was kind of average, but it was still interesting enough and compelling enough. I liked I like how he kind of engaged with Peter Parker, like once he found out that he was like his friend's son. I thought that was kind of cool. The threat I actually put relatively high. Like I said, relatively. You got like a 6 because
it's not very high. It's above average.
It's above average. It's slightly above average. But yeah, he's essentially turning the population of New York City into these lizard creatures, which eventually he could do to the entire world, or a city's population of lizard creatures could kill the entire the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And he's essentially turning it into like an army of creatures that are stronger than Spider-Man, who was injured at that point.
I think I gave him a 5 on threat.
Yeah, so I mean it's pretty comparable.
When more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, I mean, even if you won, like, okay, we'd all be lizards. Like, is that so bad? Like,
I mean, we'd probably eat a lot more flies, but
yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I'd be super strong lizard thing.
Yeah.
Like, it might be fun. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right.
So moving on.
19. Who do you got?
I got Bane.
Okay, that's very close to mine.
Oh, dude, I thought you were gonna say Bane.
So close. Bane's one above. I'll spoil that right now.
Okay.
But Whiplash, I have at 19.
Sure.
Whiplash. I liked the actor, of course, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good. I like the look because, I mean, he was. It was kind of weird and off-putting his general style.
Yeah.
But it was different, and it was fun. I enjoyed that. But when he had the just the whips, right? And that part where when he went to the racetrack and he screwed, he whipped through the car while Tony Stark was driving in. Man, that looked awesome.
See, if they kept that through the movie, that would have been cool.
His final suit wasn't anything that interesting, so that's that. And it was sort of felt like a throwaway thing at that point. Like, they're like, oh, we're just going to put him in a suit, too.
Yeah.
He didn't need to be.
And also, the suit came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Personality-wise, was fine. Like, I thought he had good motivation. I liked his kind of, like, I don't understand things, but he really does, because he's smart, and he's just kind of like he's making himself seem unassuming to a lot of people. He tricked Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
Justin Hammer didn't realize that he was obviously even smarter than him.
Yeah.
Threat wise is probably decent enough, but don't need to really talk about it. I mean, he caused a lot of trouble, but whatever.
Bane. I liked Tom Hardy's casting. I like the look that they gave him, like the whole kind of like paramilitary, but minimalist. They still gave him the mask. I didn't love that they took the Venom away from him, but
right.
But it made sense for what they were doing in the movie. So I actually really like that.
This version of Batman, which was a little more realistic.
Yeah, so that actually brought him up a lot. The portrayal, the character choices that they made, I thought were just slightly above average for him, but it was still enough. It made him compelling. But as far as like threat goes, it was kind of low, because he's just part of the League of Shadows, or he's a borderline henchman, but still more interesting. He had his followers, so he was still a villain, and he was able to take over the city in a really like convincing way, where it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm watching this, like I could actually see the response be somewhat like this, where to save people's life they will wall off a city. But
so he was my number 18. Okay. Him taking over the city was pretty good threat right there. The way he released all the criminals and villains was pretty good. He rallied people onto that cause and his side. It was good. I love the portrayal. It was really good. The voice, I love the voice. I love what he did with it. As weird as it was, like, it worked really well.
Yeah, I didn't love it at first when they first released that teaser that they eventually put in front of I forget what movie it was.
It was in the IMAX. I saw that.
Where like watching that, and then watching it when they had that scene in the movie, they changed his voice somewhat, so it was less muddy. You could understand him better.
Yeah, and they needed to, because it was hard to understand it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I did like that.
Yeah, and of course, as a threat, like it's just a physical presence. I mean, he beats the crap out of Batman. Now, stupidly, in the end of the movie, Batman just somehow beats him. I don't know why. But after having a broken back, he's just miraculously a better fighter at this point. I don't care.
Catwoman does shoot him with missiles out of the bat.
Well, that's how he ends up dying. But the final fight, like, they're much more competitive for no reason.
Yeah.
So but that's just writing. Stupid writing. One thing I wanted to say about him was his. Oh man, where was I going with this? Forget it. Move on. Okay. If I remember.
My number 18 was Enchantress.
Oh my god. 18.
Dude, like I said,
please.
The whole thing that saved her was the threat. It was the threat. It was the threat, dude. She was
beam in the sky threat.
She was incredibly powerful.
But they never used that to any good effect.
I didn't say what she did. I said the threat.
But that's like in the context of the movie. Her power was she should have been like way more powerful and way more dangerous to them. But when she fought them, she just physically fought them and then decided that, I'm starting to lose. I'll take your weapons away with my magic power.
But again, it's against the world as a whole. So if the Suicide Squad left her unchecked, she could have taken over or ended the whole world. Her and her brother, almost single-handedly. So yeah, what saved her was the threat was pretty high.
But also
Otherwise,
that threat would never existed if
yeah, the whole thing. Yeah,
right.
Amanda Waller's an idiot.
If the
we've
plot of
talked
the movie
about
didn't happen the way it did, so
yeah, no, I mean we've
with her.
Yeah, I mean otherwise, I mean I agree with everything you said. Like,
Yeah.
Cara Delevingne, like she was whatever.
Yeah.
I mean there's not really much to say. We can go on to 17.
17. I've got the Winter Soldier.
I have Rachel Gould.
Okay. Yeah, Winter Soldier appearance, so top marks. 9.
Yeah.
I give him on that because spot on look. The arm is so cool. I love the look of the arm. It's fantastic. Sebastian Stan's good. Personality was in the middle on that because he doesn't have a lot to obviously he doesn't talk a lot, but he was imposing. He was threatening. Just his appearance every time he came out, like you were like, oh damn, like what's he gonna do? Like you were kind of scared of him, like what he might accomplish. And as a threat, I mean, he was compared to Captain America, like he was a spot on physical threat because he seems to match him in all abilities.
I don't know about all abilities. I think
equally in his own way, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I still think Captain America is more powerful than him, because he's supposed to be the peak. I mean, they exaggerate somewhat for the movie, but without like maintenance, he's supposed to be like the peak human physical condition, so he's supposed to be able to run as fast as any human can be able to, as strong as any human can be able to, and I don't think that they really show that with the Winter Soldier. I don't think we're supposed to be expected to believe that. I think he's just supposed to be really highly trained and have the sort of strength on only the one arm. But
I mean, he seems beyond level of human. I mean, of course, I guess I don't know if I can count what we saw in Civil War. Because in Civil War they portray him to be even stronger and faster than an average human.
Yeah,
he seems to be on par with Captain America, even more in that movie.
Yeah.
But, he was a good danger, but it was also an emotional, psychological threat for Captain America as well.
Yeah.
So that's why he got good marks from me. I really liked him a lot.
Yeah, Rachel Gould, appearance, he got like a 5 because he's just like a dude. Like he looks close enough.
He never had the look. I wish he had the kind of costume.
He had like the goatee, and. Yeah, it would have been nice if he had like the robes that they gave.
Yeah, like in the end when he was revealed, like just come out in your like decked out gear, it looked cool. Yeah,
but I think what really saved him was I really liked the portrayal that Liam Neeson gave him. I thought, the mentorship was really great that he had with Bruce Wayne. I think he was really engaging, and the threat I thought was fairly high. Because it was a continuing threat for hundreds and thousands of years, with him leading the League of Shadows and them just basically destroying societies to rebuild them. I think
that was an interesting explanation for his group.
Yeah. So I thought that was I thought the threat was fairly high on that, just because he has had this incredibly long success rate. And regardless of what happened in the movie, he had completely destroyed, or almost completely destroyed Gotham, at that point. So he was already like 80 to 90% successful with what he was trying to do. It was just that last nail in the coffin of him actually like driving the people insane that Batman stopped. So I thought the threat that he had was pretty high, which is what ranked him so high on the list.
Okay, yeah, I might have been able to give him higher on that.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we?
16.
What do you got there?
I have Caecilius.
Okay. I have Sebastian Shaw.
Okay. Caecilius. I like the casting. I like the portrayal. I didn't think it was the most engaging. I didn't really care about the villain too much. I don't think they spent enough time on him to actually make him seem threatening as an audience member. But acknowledging what he was trying to do and what he was able to do, I put him as a threat level 8. Mm-hmm. It was the other 2 categories that just dropped him down.
Yeah, actually, that's where I put him on threat as well. 8. Yeah. Sebastian Shaw from X-Men First Class. Appearance-wise, he's not too amazing there, but with the helmet on, like he looks cool, and of course, Kevin Bacon is a good choice
Yeah.
for that actor.
Yeah.
Personality wise, like I thought was really good. Not amazing, but like, you know, Kevin Bacon did a great job, and he was really like awful and sinister. Like as far as the past sequence with him, you know, trying to get Magneto to use his powers was really intimidating and good.
Yeah.
In the present time, we didn't see him do too much that was like that, but you know, that scene with the general, where the guy like pops off the grenade, and he's like, "Okay, go ahead," and he grabs it. Really cool. The effect of his power, like absorbing the kinetic energy, was awesome. As a threat, I mean, he was. I mean, he without Professor X's like Deus Ex Machina, I can just freeze him. I mean, he would have. He was kind of unstoppable.
Yeah.
And there was almost nothing that anybody could have done to defeat him. Physically, anyway. He can stop anything. And with that helmet on, that's what made him, you know, the ultimate threat.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing in the end that was able to stop him. So, yeah, I mean, in the whole, you know, fact that he was going to cause the whole Cuban Missile Crisis and start a huge war, like, I mean, that was a huge, huge threat for me.
Yeah.
So I gave him pretty high marks on threat for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I think I said I gave him a 7. You know, for that. Right. So.
And you had.
What's it for?
16, yeah.
For 16, well, Casilius already.
So okay, right.
So 15.
So 15. I've got Yellow Jacket at 15 from Ant-Man.
We are really close on that one. I have Sandman.
Sandman, okay.
Yeah. Sandman, yeah, like. Kind of like you know, kind of mimicking what you were saying. I gave him a 9 for appearance. Like he looked like Sandman. This was like the best like visual interpretation of like not just Spider-Man, like a Marvel villain. Like he looked exactly like it was right off the page, to the point where it looked exactly what it was, but it didn't look ridiculous. It looked believable. You know, it looked like something. I'm like, if that dude walked down the street like and passed me, I wouldn't give him a second look. Mm-hmm. But I thought, I thought it looked great. So I was really thrilled with that. I really liked how human Thomas Hayden Church made the character. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that. So like I ranked him really high on like the personality.
Okay.
Threat was below average because he never really changed from being like a bank robber. I understood the motivations of the character.
His goals were very small.
But they were very small. He was trying to beat up Spider-Man, but even like in the end, it was just like, he's like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm just going to float away. Like, just let's just not. Mm-hmm. And so that dropped down a little, but yeah, I really enjoyed Sandman in that.
Okay.
Probably the best part of that movie.
Yeah, no, I can definitely respect that. There's a lot of things I liked about that character.
Mm-hmm.
I had Yellow Jacket, who I gave him a 9 on appearance because I love that suit. That suit was better than I could ever have hoped for that.
Oh yeah,
really awesome. The actor is a good choice, Corey Stoll. I mean, of course, he's just a guy outside the suit, but personality-wise, I mean, like the scenes he's in, like I really like his character. I believe his character, mm-hmm. his want to surpass Pym and like impress him, and like just like that he was never given that right to step up because Pym I guess thought that he was crazy, and he turned out that he was.
Yeah.
But again, we don't get enough of it, so that doesn't get too high ranks. Like some of the Marvel villains don't get enough screen time.
Yeah.
But they're always this is sort of coming out in this list for me, is that they're always interesting, good casting, and interesting characters that just don't get enough time. We don't get enough time. Threat level is again pretty average. I mean, his plan, if succeeding, puts an incredibly dangerous weapon out into the public that has the potential to change war throughout the world. So like that, it's a decent threat. It's not amazing, but it's interesting. And as a physical match for Ant-Man, I mean, he basically has the same abilities, but he also has additional flight and lasers. So he's a good match for him as well.
Yeah. So I'll go into 14 because I had Yellow Jacket.
Ah, all right.
All right, we're actually really close on that one.
Yeah, I had Zod at 14.
Okay. There's very little that I need to say about this because you said everything that I thought. I really like the portrayal of the character. maybe I would have liked to see him on screen a little more, but I think the personal threat was just a little above average in comparison to Ant-Man. But in the grand scheme, in the grand scheme, yeah, he was gonna, he could have been like a really big threat. It was kind of like cut off at the knees, like before it ever became anything, because he was only ever really able to like get the tech right like once. So that kind of dropped that down a little for me, but I think he had the potential of being like much higher. But yeah, no, I love the look of him. I like the casting. So
All right, so I had Zod from Man of Steel.
Okay.
He's Michael Shannon. I really like a lot.
Yeah.
He looks like what Zod should look like. I mean, the costume for Zod is not going to be anything amazing. So like appearance wise, he can never really rank that high because he's just Zod. He's. But personality wise, he gets pretty good marks because I just liked his like passion, his like sort of insanity, and his sort of arrogance. I really like that moment where when he first flies in the movie, where he's sort of like saying like, I was genetically designed to be a general, a warrior. It's like, you think you're better than me? I'm like, no. Like, so that was a really good moment in that movie.
Yeah.
And his threat, I mean, he's an equal match to Superman. He should have been a better fighter. I mean, he supposedly may have been. We just didn't have enough time with it. So like, it was fine. And his plan to take over and terraform the planet is pretty damn dangerous. So like, again, he gets high marks there. A really good villain overall. I liked him a lot, despite not loving the movie.
Yeah.
So let's move on to 13, where I have William Stryker from X-Men 2.
Wow, that's a lot higher than mine.
Surprisingly much higher.
I had Ronan.
Okay, Ronan. Yeah, go on.
Okay, me. All right. Yeah, I really liked the look of him. I thought the costume looked great. It was like something like off the page, but still accessible and like believable. I thought the portrayal was a little bland. I don't think they gave him enough screen time to actually make me care about it. I think if they actually, in the movie, if they took Nebula out of the movie, even for how much of a fan I am of Karen Gillan, and they gave him her screen time, I think he would have ranked a lot higher. But as far as the threat goes...
Yeah, we didn't have Nebula in this because she was sort of a side villain. But yeah, that's a good point on that. Like, I wouldn't want her out of it, but yeah, he could have got more time.
But as far as the threat goes, I gave him an 8. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's what I gave him as well.
Because he had an Infinity Stone. The dance-off was silly, but if you remember, the whole reason why he was able to be beat, even though they didn't say it exactly in this movie, they were alluding to what was going to be answered in the next movie, is that the only reason why he was able to get beaten by the Guardians is because Star-Lord was part Celestial. So it was essentially because he was taken down by someone that was, essentially a god or like or the offspring of an original being of the universe.
Sure, yeah.
Granted, like you can't really say that in the movie.
And that's not what helped him, distract him with the dance thing.
No.
That's what helped him use the Infinity Stone or not die from holding the Infinity Stone immediately.
Yeah, but it was, the dancing. It was like a silly moment in the movie, but I still put the threat as pretty high. Yeah. Because he did have an Infinity Stone. So.
And like I said, I liked that. I thought that was fun. I like when he started dancing. I was like, it's hilarious, and it made sense. He distracted him because he was like, "What is going on right now? This guy is totally crazy." Because he's, Ronan is not. He was never a guy who didn't stop and talk or think at all. So like it was fine. It's not like he was. Yeah. He was a guy who wanted people to know why he was there and what he was doing. He wasn't just gonna blow it up because he could have blown it up from the planet. Essentially, he could have jumped off the ship and just landed on the planet and blown it up. Yeah. But that's not how he wanted to do it. So all right, we've got. Oh, I had William Stryker. I didn't say.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, William Stryker. Appearance wise, he's just a dude, of course, but good casting.
Yep.
I liked him a lot. Personality wise, I gave him a pretty high mark on that because, he again got a character with a lot of conviction. he was very highly motivated to do what he was doing, and he really truly believed that he was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
As far as the threat goes, I mean, yeah, I mean, he was able to control mutants and make them do what he wanted with that thing, whatever he had, that he got, I guess he extracted from his son, right? Yeah. I mean, really sinister, awful, like, when it comes to his personality, like, the fact that he's using his mutant son to try to destroy all mutants.
Yeah.
I mean, really cool, really good stuff there, really compelling. You know, he almost succeeded in destroying all the mutants on the planet. Really, you know, that's pretty good. It's pretty dangerous plot for the context of this, of course. Yeah. You know, he's not a physical threat, but he had physical threats to deal with people. He had Lady Deathstrike as his minion, essentially, because of his mind control stuff. Yeah. So yeah, really good, really great villain. I really like that movie a lot, and he was a large part of that movie.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
All right, number 12.
All right. I had Apocalypse.
Oh my God, Apocalypse. I'm Ozymandias.
Okay. All right.
Please tell me how amazing Apocalypse was.
Okay, what saved Apocalypse was, you're gonna disagree. I actually kind of liked how cartoony and comic booky his look was. I didn't think it was amazing, but I think the casting of Oscar Isaac and them trying to go that route I thought was really good. That it just appealed to me. But the actual portrayal of the character was dropped down. I think it was actually a little offensive that you take somebody as talented as Oscar Isaac, you know, who just watch Ex Machina. You know, if you want to see, if you want to see somebody just give a really compelling and just wonderful performance, you know, you take
in The Force Awakens too. Such a likable character.
I was just trying to not bring everything back to Star Wars for me, but there's a reason why like he was eventually just termed the internet's boyfriend, because like he really is just that likable and charismatic. So, you know, for the fact that he just wasn't that interesting, you know, it dropped him down. But what really saved him was the threat level, you know, because he essentially can just take on, you know, through a process like any mutant's power, and then he can enhance other mutants' powers like through his own. And for the fact that, you know, you have Charles Xavier, who essentially should be the most powerful mutant on the world because he can just, you know, maybe with Cerebro take over everyone's mind. This guy was a huge threat to him. And the fact that he's, you know, thousands of years old, and I actually gave him a 9 for a threat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his threat was the highest mark I gave him.
Yeah.
To me, it was ultimately the problem with his threat was that I just didn't buy his whole plan, and his whole like power stealing thing was the mechanism for it to happen with the whole pyramid thing was so weird and contrived, and like it didn't seem like he couldn't just do it at will in a way. So, you know, it's not like he could have just taken anyone's power whenever he wanted to and been able to use it.
Yeah.
He had to go through this whole process, you know. And his minions were kind of lame, in my opinion. The way he decided to use them, it was cool that he could do that, but like he also gave them like makeovers somehow for some reason.
Yeah. He enhanced them.
All right, let's go to. Oh wait, I had Ozymandias as number 12. Appearance-wise, I like the costume. That was pretty cool. The actor was fine. I probably gave it a little higher than we should have. Yeah. Give it a 7. Because I know I enjoyed it. It was fine. I guess I don't have too much to say about that. Yeah. His personality was fine again, like pretty good. I enjoyed his character. He didn't do too much, but I like that he was like, you know, one of the heroes, and his whole reasoning and explanation, his whole trickery behind with his plan. You know, I love that scene where he has that guy come in to assassinate him, and he just, like grabs that like tensor barrier thing and whacks him with it. It was really cool. I like that. That was a really good moment. That really drive home like the way he thought, you know.
Yeah, it was a really great. I'll say it was a really great visual Zack Snyder moment.
Yeah, and threat. This is where I had the mention where I gave him a 10 for threat.
Okay.
And the reason I gave him a 10 is because he won. He actually succeeded in his plan.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, saying that, I mean, I would probably actually bump him up a couple points. I would actually bump him up a couple points because yeah,
because I was thinking of it like a little lower, but then I was like, no, he succeeded. Like he won. He got everyone to think that Dr. Manhattan was the bad guy and got the world.
And he got Dr. Manhattan to go along with it. And
and he made the world, come together over a common threat.
Yeah.
And made the world a better place. Like he ended up turning out not to be really a villain in a lot of ways, but he was obviously
it was the sacrifice millions to save billions.
Yeah, like he did some terrible stuff, but it was for a good cause. But yeah, I mean, so yeah.
Okay.
That's where I go with that.
All right.
Number 11.
All right. I had Boulevard Trask.
Oh, God. I
don't respond in disgust with your choices,
I'm disgusted.
Carl.
Caecilius I have at 11.
I'm changing Caecilius to number 35 now, just so I can respond in disgust to your derision.
Let me. Okay, I'll talk about Caecilius first.
Because I already know this is a character you love, but I'm actually surprised it did not come in the top 10.
Really? No, he got really good marks on appearance. I give him a 9 because I really loved the look of him. The costume, the thing with the eyes was really great. Like better than I could have expected them to do for this kind of throwaway comic book villain.
Yeah.
And the casting, of course, awesome, great actor. Really good look for that character too, like just the way his face looks and everything. Personality-wise, again, I gave him slightly above average on that because I liked him. I liked his motivation. I liked his method, his way of thinking. Was good, and I believed him. He had that conviction again. Yeah. But he didn't have a lot of time. Again, as in a lot of Marvel movies, a common thread here. Yeah. We didn't get enough scenes with him. I would have liked to see more of him. And I thought he was a good threat, pretty high threat, because his ability in magic was very strong. He did end up killing the Ancient One, which proved how dangerous he really was. And he almost did succeed in letting Dormammu actually get access to the realm. I mean, he did destroy all of the oh God, why am I forgetting the name of those places? The sanctums. Yeah. Right. It's like he did a ton of damage, and it wasn't for Doctor Strange getting the Infinity Stone and being able to reverse time and stuff. Yeah. Like he destroyed everything. I mean, he killed what's his name? His friend, the bookkeeper. Yeah. God, I'm losing it. Wong. Right. He killed Wong. I mean. So yeah, I mean there was some good stuff in there. He was really dangerous. He caused a lot of damage. He had a lot of success. Yeah.
All right.
Boulevard Trask.
Boulevard Trask.
Regale me.
Okay. I really loved Peter, the casting of Peter Dinklage. I think he's a really talented actor. I think he brought a lot to the role. I love I've said it a couple times. I love the intensity and his conviction, and his understanding but hatred of mutants, and his understanding of the threat that they could be. So I really liked that. He was still just kind of a dude, but there's something about his portrayal that I really enjoyed, because again, it just comes down to the conviction and the true believer that really gets me. But then also what really brought him up was the threat of him creating the Sentinels and his experimentation on the mutants, and eventually, even though it was defeated, his experimentation on Mystique's genetics, that he at the save for the time travel, because they eventually stop him. Yeah. But he succeeded.
Yeah, and that's what leads to the
events of the movie.
Events of the future, the future Sentinels.
But I mean, decimated almost the entire mutant population. The human population is essentially kind of shown to be enslaved.
I mean, but he never succeeded because of time travel. So
well, he succeeded and he failed. So I mean, that's why I put it as a 7, because he was defeated, but it was a huge threat. So
Yeah, I mean, I did. I gave him low ranks probably for what I gave him for the threat. Yeah, really low, because I mean his Sentinels in the modern time, right? The ones that he actually made directly were just not threatening at all. They didn't do much. They just kind of hovered and shot bullets. I'm like, all right, there's a lot of mutants that could easily defeat them.
If something hovered and shot bullets at me, I would find it very threatening, Carl.
Yeah, but you're not a mutant with 2 powers.
You don't know that?
No. Like Cyclops was there. You could just blasted the hell out of all of them. One shot, like beep, right across.
Cyclops was busy being born, Carl.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
don't be ridiculous. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Well, all right. This has been the Superhero's Journey, episode number 5. My name is Carl Freeman,
I'm Brian Shores.
and please follow us on Twitter at Superhero Journey. No E in super. Write to us via email, thesuperheroesjourney@gmail.com, where heroes is plural, not possessive.
Yep. And if you just whatever platform you're listening to this on, whether it's iTunes or anything else, just give us rate us and just leave a review. If you're enjoying this, it'll just help other people find us. And if you hate us, then it's a good spot for you to tell us how horrible we are, in which case it'll still help other people to find us. So
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like us or disagree, write comments on our YouTube channel or on Twitter. That's fine.
Yeah, send us
We
emails.
enjoy it.
Yeah, we can address it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening.
Thanks.